All right, well, welcome to another edition of Driving with Mark. My name is Mark McClinchie. I am a real estate agent in the Pittsburgh area, and I have a YouTube channel, Mark Knows Pittsburgh, where I have lots of informative videos helping primarily out-of-area home buyers learn more about the Pittsburgh area. But if you don't fall into that category, that's okay too. Maybe you just want to check out what it's like driving in the Pittsburgh area. I've done a couple of these videos. This is the third one that I've done, and we are traveling from the North Hills to Oakland. I am on Babcock Boulevard, and we're just going to be going through the city. One of my goals is just to show you kind of how easy it is to get around in the Pittsburgh area. So Ross Township, for those that are unaware, is in the North Hills. So, you know, the two largest areas that we have in the Pittsburgh area, suburban areas, are the North Hills area, which covers, you know, a wide range, but pretty much everything in Allegheny County. Could be an argument even in lower Butler County to kind of consider that whole swath the North Hills. So you've got the North Hills School District, you've got Shaler, you've got Hampton, you've got maybe even Fox Chapel. You definitely have like the Pine Richland area, the North Allegheny area, the Wexford area, the Cranberry area, which is Seneca Valley, and also the Mars School District. So all that technically is kind of the North Hills. And then you've got the South Hills, which I'll talk about the South Hills in another video where I'm in the South Hills. But right now I'm kind of in the lower North Hills. We're not that far away from the city. But again, it's saying from Oakland right now, it's gonna be about an 11-minute drive from where we are. We're gonna be passing Cemetery Lane up here, and we'll get on McKnight Road. But Ross Township, great little area. A lot of people know Ross Township because of its retail establishments. You've got both 19, which I was back there a little bit, and then you've got McKnight Road. So both of those are north and south main arteries, and up and down those roads you have pretty big retail areas. You've got Northway Mall, which really isn't a mall much anymore. It's outdoor, but lots of big stores there. You've got Ross Park Mall, which is a Simon Mall, one of the bigger malls in the Pittsburgh area. And then of course you've got like tons of like strip malls and big box stores and national chains and retail establishments up and down McKnight Road. A lot of people give McKnight Road a little bit of a bad rap because you know, it can get congested and there's a lot of, you know, stoplights and things like that. But generally it's not that bad, actually. It's not terribly, you know, a long drive, you know, to get up and down McKnight Road. A lot of people use it to commute to downtown. Certainly around the holiday season, when, you know, people are out shopping and you've got regular commuters, it can get pretty backed up. And just, you know, have some delays at the lights. But, you know, we're going to be on a section of McKnight Road where you'll see doesn't really have a lot of lights, and we're just going to get right on to 279, and it's going to be fairly easy. So here we are again, Babcock Boulevard. If I were to go straight here, we'd get down into like Millvale and get closer to the river. But instead, I'm going to go left, and we are going to get onto McKnight Road and have a pretty easy shot right not only into the city, but then out the other side over to the eastern suburbs, kind of, well, not suburbs, excuse me, still in the city, but we'll be in Oakland. We could go to the eastern suburbs. I won't go quite that far, but I'm out every single day on appointments like I was this morning, and driving all over the city. And, you know, I really do enjoy driving in and around the Pittsburgh area because it's not that bad. You know, I know a lot of cities that I've visited and, you know, have friends that live in, like, traffic's pretty heckish in a lot of places, but, you know, I don't think in the Pittsburgh area it's really that bad. I mean, we have our moments, believe me, and we've got our, you know, issues. I just did a video about all the different traveling, you know, all the different modes of transportation you can use in the Pittsburgh area. So check that out on my YouTube channel. Check out all the other videos that have drives from, you know, point A to point B, and you'll just get a front row seat. You'll ride shotgun as I do those drives and kind of see in real time what traffic is like, how long it takes to get from one point to another. Pittsburgh has this old myth that I typically mention in every video that, Pittsburghers don't like to, cross rivers or go through tunnels, and I think that's outdated. I don't think that's true. And if people have that mindset, they really are missing out, because Pittsburgh is one of the great things I think about living in the Pittsburgh area is that it's small enough where you can take advantage of things all over the region. If you live in a much, much larger city, it would be a pain, if you hear about a new restaurant opening up on the other side of town, or there's, you want to meet up with a friend who lives on the other side of town. It can be quite cumbersome in a lot of bigger cities to make those things happen. Obviously, like New York City, for example, is crazy. I mean, we drove like 2 miles a couple months ago when we were visiting, and it took 45 minutes, which was insane. But Pittsburgh, super easy. So if you live in the North Hills and you want to meet up with a friend that lives in the South Hills, super easy to do. Here we are in the North Hills, and we're going to be crossing a river and going on a couple bridges just to get to Oakland. And if you look on a map, you'll see that it's from one side of the city to the other, and we're going to do this entire drive in the length of this video. And there's not going to be any editing, there's not going to be any speeding up. It's just me kind of talking the entire time, narrating where we're going, and just filling you in on some tidbits. So let me know in the comments what you think of these videos. The one bonus for me is they're not very hard to make, because I just put record on my phone, and then I upload it after I'm done. So I like making these videos. Hopefully people will like watching them. But let me know in the comments other drives you'd like to see and stuff like that. But we're now on 279 North, the Parkway North. I think this opened in like the late 80s. I remember being a kid, and this was a road that just opened. A lot of these were homes along here, and they used eminent domain to kind of buy up those homes. I remember that being sort of in the news. But once this opened up, it really made it easy from the North Hills to commute to downtown. In fact, it's probably, of all the suburban directions you could be, north, south, east, west, commuting from the North Hills, even as far away as Cranberry, is actually quite easy. So I do have a lot of clients that are not sure what side of the city to live on. But North Hills is definitely a popular choice because of the commute. So a lot of people who work either in the universities, which are mainly in the Oakland area. You've got Pitt and CMU, Carnegie Mellon, that are in those areas, and I've got a lot of clients that work for those universities. And so the commute from the North Hills really isn't that bad. Right now it is 1:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday, late February. Blue skies, sunny, a little cold outside. It's 36 degrees, but beautiful sunny weather. You can see over that barrier, you can see the other, going outbound from the city, you can see the other cars on the other side. And then in between is actually a high occupancy vehicle. You can see a sign up there. I don't know if that's in range of the camera. But that holds, I think, 2 or more people. And during rush hour, they have that open, or they have it open in the morning and going into the city, and then they have it open on the going outbound in the afternoon. I always took that whenever I was, had my kids in the car and we were commuting on a daily basis into the city for school. So that was nice to get on the HOV lane. Sometimes this gets backed up a little bit, but like I said, the Parkway North doesn't have a ton of traffic. Definitely not going to have any traffic in the middle of the day. Whereas the Parkway East and outside of the Squirrel Hill Tunnel, that you're never really quite 100% clear. Maybe this time of day it wouldn't be too bad, but you're probably going to pump the brakes a little bit. And then, the Squirrel Hill Tunnel, the Parkway East, probably definitely has a lot more traffic than the Parkway North. Parkway North, like I said, is pretty easy. So here we are. There's downtown. To our right, the Golden Triangle, all the beautiful skyline. You've got the David L. Lawrence Convention Center, and we are just going to be going right through the city, the back of the city, right near PPG Paints, right near the U.S. Steel building. And we'll get on the Crosstown Boulevard. And we'll get on the Boulevard of the Allies to head to Oakland. So yeah, we really only have 5 minutes left. And there's a brand new building right here, this First National Bank building. They just put that up in the last year to our left. Nice building. I don't think it's done yet. But here we are going to, you can see the signs for Oakland and Monroeville, which is the Parkway East. We're going to be on that for a little bit until we get off at the Oakland exit. And then if we went straight, if we didn't take this exit, we'd be going on the Liberty Bridge and going through the Liberty Tunnel toward the South Hills. So we're going to bank off here and get on Boulevard of the Allies. Well, near the Boulevard of the Allies. We'll be running parallel technically with... no, we'll be on the Boulevard of the Allies. I apologize. Sometimes all these roads get a little, like Pittsburgh traffic and nomenclature gets confusing sometimes. We'll be running parallel with eventually this would go onto the Parkway, but we're going to get off before we get on the official Parkway. But we're actually, this is the county jail to our right, and then to our left is Duquesne University, so another major university. So Pittsburgh basically has 4 large universities, and I guess the fourth one, the smallest, is Robert Morris University. And then Duquesne, probably Duquesne and Robert Morris, I don't know the exact enrollment numbers, but they're probably similar in size. And then the 2 larger universities, you've got Carnegie Mellon and the University of Pittsburgh. So we'll see a little bit of the Pittsburgh campus when we pull off up here. But Duquesne, really nice school. To our left here, they just opened a medical school, which is a big announcement. And then to our right, you can see that's the Birmingham Bridge off in the distance, and then that's the Monongahela River. You've got the Southside Flats to our right. So really beautiful. Below us, a little bit down, is the Parkway East, and you've got you got the jail trail, which is a nice little bike and walking, jogging trail that's down there, which goes along parallel with the river. But we're going to be banking off up here into Oakland. And yeah, I mean, there's not too much volume right now, midday. It's not too bad, pretty typical. Obviously, if this were rush hour, things would be a little higher volume. There could be a little bit of backup outside of that Squirrel Hill Tunnel. Again, I mean, I would never tell anybody where they should live. They can make their choices. I'll give you all the information about that. But I do think one of the drawbacks a little bit of in the eastern suburbs is that Squirrel Hill Tunnel. Because, and it's not that bad of traffic, but it's just compared to other places you could live, it's a little more congested, going through that tunnel at a lot of times of day. This time of day, probably going outbound, it would be totally fine. And I'll have to do a drive to do that, to show people. But right now, we just got off of Boulevard of the Allies, and now we're on Forbes. And we'll just take Forbes Avenue into town. I'm going to stop and get some lunch. And wrap things up. You can see off in the distance, beautiful view with the Cathedral of Learning, which is the main building of the University of Pittsburgh. You can kind of see that. It used to be one of the tallest buildings in the region. I think it still is one of the tallest academic buildings around. I'm sure there might be a few that are taller, but it's quite nice. It's a nice little key signature building of the Pitt campus. And so McGee Women's Hospital to the right, where 2 of my kids were born. We just passed that. That's a major hospital in the area. And then there's a lot of medical, hospitals in the Oakland area. Pitt has a medical school, dental school. Just announced a chiropractic school, which is kind of a big deal that they just announced a program for that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is Forbes Avenue. Fifth Avenue is a block away and runs parallel. It's one way the other way, but Forbes is one way going east, goes through Oakland and then goes into Squirrel Hill. So as it goes through Oakland, it's going through the Pitt campus, and as it goes towards Squirrel Hill, it goes through the Carnegie Mellon campus, and then it gets up into the Squirrel Hill, which is a nice little community as well. But that kind of wraps things up from my end, and I will be pulling over here to park in just a second. May as well wrap things up at this red light. Thanks for watching. We are officially in Oakland and finished our drive. Take care.